Not every fall is loud. Some begin with a whisper, a subtle shift in values, a moment of pride, a betrayal of purpose. You see, being a chosen one is not just a title, it's a divine responsibility. You were selected to carry the light, to shift energy, to be the mirror, the healer, the liberator. But with great spiritual power comes even greater temptation. The same fire that purifies can also burn, and when a chosen one strays from alignment, when ego begins to speak louder than the soul, that divine gift can become a curse. Yes, even the chosen ones, those marked by God and the universe, can be corrupted. Today, we're going to dive deep. This is not a message for the faint of heart. This is a spiritual reality check. Here are 8 signs a chosen one has eventually become evil. If this resonates, don't ignore it. It might just be your wake-up call. Before we go deeper into this spiritual truth, I want to speak directly to your soul. Did this message find you when you needed it most? Were you feeling distant from your path, lost in your thoughts, questioning your power? If so, that's no accident. Type 1111 in the comments to receive divine clarity, spiritual renewal, and to realign with your highest self. And if you're on a spiritual journey, navigating the battles between ego and soul, make sure to subscribe to this channel. Here we speak truth without sugarcoating. This is your spiritual home, your reminder that even the light can fall into darkness, but you can rise again. Let's get started. 1. They start using their gifts to manipulate, not heal. Every chosen one is born with spiritual gifts. Some call it divine intuition, the ability to discern truth from lies, to influence hearts and shift atmospheres. These are sacred tools meant for healing, awakening, and restoring the broken. But when ego and desire creep in, something sinister begins to happen. They no longer use their gifts to uplift, they use them to control. The words may still sound holy, the tone may still carry authority, but the intention is poisoned. Healing turns into manipulation. Their light becomes a performance, crafted not from purity but from vanity. They know how to tap into people's pain and desires, not to guide them toward light, but to bend them toward their will. Slowly, what once came from love begins to feed off fear and adoration. Their energy doesn't restore, it drains, and their presence no longer brings peace, but confusion cloaked in charisma. 2. They begin to worship the ego instead of serving the spirit. A true chosen one understands that they are merely a vessel, elevated not for personal glory, but for divine mission. But as influence grows, so does the temptation to let ego take the throne. What once was humility becomes a hunger for praise. They begin to post more about themselves than the source that empowers them. Their message becomes laced with subtle pride. I am the light rather than I carry the light. Their spiritual journey becomes a stage show where likes, followers, and affirmations become the new God they serve. They no longer speak from the spirit, they speak to be seen. The focus shifts from service to self, and with that shift, they disconnect from their original purpose. When the ego becomes the master, spirit becomes the background noise. The divine calling becomes distorted into a personal brand, and they slowly lose the authenticity that once made their voice so powerful. 3. They lose empathy and become emotionally cold. Empathy is the soul of a chosen one. It's what allows them to feel deeply, to sit with the broken, and to carry the emotional weight of others without judgment. But when one strays from the path, that sacred empathy begins to dry up. They become cold, detached, and emotionally numb. No longer do they cry with those who weep or rejoice with those who rise. They become indifferent. The pain of others becomes an inconvenience rather than a calling. Their words, once full of compassion, become laced with superiority. They talk at people instead of walking with them. Instead of offering love, they offer critique. Instead of listening, they dismiss. They forget that their wisdom was born out of the very suffering they now scoff at. In their ascent, they lose the human touch, and with that, the spirit begins to withdraw. 4. They begin isolating themselves in arrogance, not protection. Isolation can be sacred. Many chosen ones are called into the wilderness for clarity, healing, and divine intimacy. But when the heart turns dark, that holy solitude becomes a fortress of pride. They withdraw not to protect their energy, but to elevate their ego. No one understands me. No one is on my level. These thoughts become justifications for spiritual arrogance. They begin to see everyone else as low vibrational, unworthy of their time or presence. What once was discernment becomes disdain. They speak of protecting peace, but it's really about feeding superiority. They stop engaging with others unless they can be praised or seen as a guru. The community becomes a threat to their illusion of elevation. In the name of spiritual growth, they isolate themselves from accountability, truth, and the very people they were meant to serve. 5. They twist spiritual knowledge to justify darkness. This is one of the most insidious signs and one of the hardest to recognize. When a chosen one turns dark, they don't abandon spiritual language. Instead, they weaponize it. They take sacred truths and distort them to fit their own agenda. They justify betrayal as divine timing. They call revenge righteous judgment. They manipulate spiritual laws to excuse selfish, harmful behavior. They'll say, "God told me to silence any critique." They use scriptures, sacred texts, and cosmic laws not to teach or enlighten, but to protect their own ego and actions. The outside world still sees wisdom, but the energy behind it has shifted. It's no longer about truth, it's about control. And once the spirit behind the message becomes corrupted, even the holiest words become dangerous tools of deception. 6. They refuse correction or spiritual accountability. A true chosen one walks in humility. They know that growth comes through correction, and they welcome divine discipline. But when pride takes over, they become immune to accountability. They surround themselves with people who only agree with them. They silence opposing voices. They label honest feedback as hate or low vibration. Slowly, their spiritual walk becomes an echo chamber. They begin to believe they are above reproach. Any challenge to their actions is seen as an attack. They forget that even the most anointed need counsel. They stop seeking spirit because they believe they are the spirit, and in doing so, they blind themselves to the very guidance that once kept them on the path. The fall is rarely sudden. It's a slow erosion caused by the absence of correction and the presence of unchecked pride. 7. They become addicted to power, not purpose. Perhaps the most tragic sign of all is when a chosen one becomes addicted to their influence. What began as a divine mission turns into a personal empire. They stop showing up in private, where true transformation happens, and only appear when there's an audience. They no longer pray in silence. They perform for the crowd. Their presence is loud, dominating, and attention-seeking. They don't want connection. They want followers. They're not interested in healing. They want worship. Power becomes their drug, and like any addict, they'll do whatever it takes to maintain the high, even if it means betraying their purpose. The spotlight becomes their sanctuary, and slowly the gentle, humble spirit that once made them magnetic fades, replaced by a persona fueled by pride, applause, and spiritual emptiness. 8. They start attracting chaos and can't keep peace in their life. When the light dims inside a chosen one, their life reflects it. They begin attracting drama, broken relationships, chaos, and instability. They say people are jealous, but really, it's their own inner war being projected outward. Spiritual misalignment creates outer disorder, and instead of being a peacemaker, they become the storm. If everyone around them is constantly at odds, if every relationship becomes toxic, then maybe the chosen one has become the problem. To every chosen one who's fallen off their path, this message isn't condemnation, it's an invitation. The universe isn't punishing you, it's calling you back. Evil doesn't arrive in red horns. It shows up subtly, in pride, bitterness, and disconnection from source. If you feel like you've been drifting, if you know you've used your gifts for the wrong things, this is the Alchemy of Awareness channel. If this message found you right when your soul was whispering for help, then don't run. This is Grace knocking. Type 1111 in the comments if this message awakens something deep inside. Claim your return to alignment, claim forgiveness, claim your restoration. And if this kind of truth speaks to you, if you're done playing games with your soul, subscribe right now. This channel is here for the seekers, the returners, the warriors, and those who refuse to let darkness win. Even if you've gone dark, the light inside you is not dead, just dimmed, and it's time to relight the fire. Thank you for watching.